Bosses of Reddit, what is the stupidest thing you have had to fire someone for? Manager at a delivery joint here. We had to let someone go because they decided to deliver pizzas in a car that was not his. I had to fire this employee from a gas station I worked at after he asked me if I had ever tampered with the products using a pushpin while he was literally doing it. I have no idea how long he had been doing it. He had worked there for over a year. We worked at a place that bought in used cell phones. She bought a cell phone from a guy, and his Facebook was still open. She posted as the guy on his Facebook something like, "I'm a big freaking idiot." Guy came back to complain. She was fired.
One of the security guys at my company was caught having a very private moment with NSFW stuff during the day at the main reception desk by a female PA. When we had his exit interview, we asked him why he did it, and he just said he felt really comfortable at work and got carried away while browsing Reddit. He had been with the company for years. The best part was a colleague of mine who came back from vacation a week later and asked what happened to Ron. Someone said he was fired, and immediately the guy said, "Oh, what? Did he get caught doing solo side quests?" But he did not even know. He just got the vibe that Ron would be the type to do that at work.
I was managing a restaurant and did morning cash out. I checked all slips against the information in the computer. I noticed a new hire had really good tip averages the day before when I had been paying her out. The next day, I was going through her slips and noticed a discrepancy. Mainly that she had added a 1 in front of each tip and changed the total. How could I tell, you ask? She used different color ink. She was fired and we refunded the money. Seriously, at least use the same color ink. Worked at a nightclub. One of the workers called in sick, but he was actually going to some party instead. Could you guess where they went after the party? Yes, to our nightclub. One of my technicians used our remote software to start typing to a girl whose machine he took control of. He opened Notepad, wrote "what up," followed by an offensive insult, and then went to an adult website. Supervisor gets an email about inappropriate behavior the same day, and he is gone the next morning.
Putting a customer's info in the system as first name, don't care. Last name, smells like crap. One of my salesmen had a customer stop during a test drive so he could buy drugs. On the upside, he did offer to share them. Guys, if your phone also keeps saying there is no storage left and your gallery is packed with receipts, screenshots, duplicates, and random stuff, Whoosh Smart Cleaner actually helps. I used it to find huge videos and photos I took a couple of years ago and completely forgot about. They were just sitting there, taking up space, syncing to iCloud, and I was basically paying to store things I did not need anymore. Plus, after cleaning it up, my phone felt noticeably less sluggish. And the best part is that you do not have to sit there choosing every photo by hand. You just swipe left or right, like in a dating app, delete or keep. That way you clean your camera array quickly without all the extra hassle. Link in the description.
I once worked in a retail store where we all had our own access codes that allowed us to do stuff, and if our code didn't allow us to do it, we weren't supposed to be doing it. On his first day, during training, he managed to catch the general manager's code as he was typing it in and used it for about a week. Pretty much gave away thousands of dollars of equipment in the manager's name. It was particularly stupid because he did it because he still had his trainee position, which required somebody to look over most of what he did if he wanted to give discounts, etc. If he had waited another couple of days, he would have been moved up to full staff member and could have given out most of those discounts anyway without anybody noticing or caring. He just couldn't wait to give his friends all the free swag. In high school, a guy I knew took a giant Ronald McDonald made of Legos from the McDonald's he worked at. It was one of those guess the number of pieces contests. He got away with it, but later on, he was caught taking boxes of hash brown wrappers with Monopoly game pieces on them. Police show up at his place to take him in over the hash browns, and lo and behold, there sits Ronald in the middle of his room. I was the manager of a Papa John's, and a lady called and complained about a driver going too fast near her kids. Driver comes back, and I say, "Pat, a lady called, try and slow it down a bit." He loses it in front of a packed audience of pickup customers. "You serious, man? Whose side are you on?" "Not mad, Pat. Just be careful." "No, she is lying." "Pat,
Dude, not mad. Just be careful.
No, you and I need to go outside.
Calm down, dude. Not mad at you. Don't worry.
Then he kept yelling nonsense. You're done, man. Go home. Most awkward pizza firing, aside from when this dude tried to attack me when I worked on the coast. Pat is a nurse now. Had a guy get removed by police because the night before, the IT guy found out he was downloading and hosting illegal material involving minors on his work computer. I worked with a guy who was fired for regularly watching NSFW stuff at his desk. They talked to him several times and he just never stopped.
This actually just happened. Our supplier came out onto my construction site and cooked everyone a free barbecue. This one bloke had a meltdown and almost got into a confrontation with the chef. Their conversation started off like this. Guy, where's the butter? Chef, ain't got no butter, mate. Guy, what kind of barbecue is this without any butter? Chef, a free one. If you don't like it, don't have it. Then the guy blew up, yelling nonstop at the chef for making snarky comments, while the chef thought nothing of it and remained really calm, telling the guy to take it easy. Our site does not tolerate this kind of behavior. Needless to say, we kicked the guy off site ASAP. Lost a job over a free barbecue and butter. Edit, turns out there was butter in the fridge. Friend of mine woke up on the floor of an apartment seriously hungover. Too hungover to work. He called into work and told them he was too sick to come in. Manager asks innocently, "What are you sick with?" Friend responds, "Cerebral palsy." Yeah, he got fired. One of my cooks asked for a smoke break. Told him to go for it. He had not come back after 10 minutes, so I looked out the window. He was using a pipe with hard drugs. He came back in, started cooking some food, turned to me and said, "DJ9PD, I don't feel so good. I think I need to go home." Yeah, Reggie, maybe it's because you just used hard drugs by the dumpster. Get out. Nah, man, I can still prep. I then spent 5 minutes explaining to him why I could not have a guy under the influence using a sharp kitchen tool. To this day, I do not think he still understands why he was fired. Edit from work. Here's a picture of Reggie with identifying marks removed. We worked at this sort of pasta/Asian hybrid place that failed. And like many have pointed out, people used substances in the kitchen staff. My only rules were don't do anything on the clock and don't do it in uniform. Reggie had messed up a few times. I hated letting him go because he actually was a good line cook. The guy found another cook job pretty quickly. I had a manager take a bag that a customer had left on the counter. He completely denied it too, and I believed him. But the customer was sure he left it there and asked to see the video. I had not seen anything odd, so I showed it to him. He pointed out the bag, which we watched until the manager of 10+ years picked up the bag and left. Brilliant move. I used to manage a hotel. You would not believe the amount of female employees I had to constantly remind that it was against company policy to hook up with the guests. One woman, who was about 20 years old, had been reminded of this several times and was caught in the middle of a very private moment with a guy who was about 65 and looked like Santa Claus. After she was fired, one of her coworkers told me this woman had a Santa Claus thing and thought she would never get the opportunity to act on it, so it was worth possibly getting caught and fired. The girl was pretty decent looking too. A PC technician was being pestered with questions from a customer about sales stuff. He lost it, and while looking the customer square in the face, though the employee had his eyes closed, said, "Get away from me or I am going to lose it." It took half the day to get over the laughter and the what just happened energy of the situation before we could even begin on paperwork. Not a boss, but HR. Had a guy on a temporary work comp transitional assignment at a retail store. His regular job had very good pay, a lot of benefits, etc. The guy took a used scuba suit from his temporary job site? On camera. Bonus, we're well over 1,000 miles from any ocean. Had an employee call in sick a few busy retail Saturdays in a row. The pattern got my bit suspicious, but I had no proof until
A coworker, who wasn't all too happy working up front shorthanded again, came into my office, cell phone in hand, to show me selfie photos that the sick employee had just posted to Facebook of her sunbathing. This guy always tried to hide at work to avoid working. One day I was looking for him, and I stepped into the bathroom. I notice a shoe print on the back of the toilet, and I look up, and one of the ceiling tiles is pushed a little to the side. I climb up there, and this dude is hiding in the ceiling. Wasn't the boss, sorry, but a coworker at the gas station job I had in high school got fired for just pulling scratch-off lottery tickets off the roll and scratching them off right on the counter, directly in front of the security cameras we all knew about. Had to fire a brand new employee, second day on the job, for backing out the maintenance truck. He neglected to close the wide-open passenger door, and it got caught on the concrete security pillars, bent the door back past 90 degrees. Then the guy attempted to drive forward as if nothing happened, like he bumped into a curb. Several of our employees had to flag him down halfway down the parking lot because he would not stop. "Oh, my bad," was all he said. We started mandatory substance screenings for all new employees after that. A couple of coworkers decided to start selling controlled substances at the hospital we worked at and thought using the internal email system was a good way to keep in touch with customers. I have had two in my immediate control. One, throwing sharp tools in the kitchen, and two, bringing her two kids with her while she worked her shift and leaving them in the car, in summer, in Texas. I actually told her to go home or I would call protective services on her. While on my day off, and not yet upper management, a whole detective team took a guy in for a serious crime and searched the whole restaurant. There's a girl who works in a local nursery who'd called in sick with tonsillitis for about a week. What she was really doing was rehearsals for the Glasgow Commonwealth Games opening ceremony, and she took part in the ceremony, which was broadcast to millions on TV. Needless to say, everyone she works with saw her. As a bonus, most newspapers had shown her photos too. Thanks for watching. Tell me in the comments which story you like the most, and make sure to watch the other videos too. There are more good stories there.